Believe it or not, but it takes less than a day for a potato to go from being just a potato into becoming your delicious Lay's chips. Yeah, that crispy, salty snack you love so much is produced faster than you can binge watch your favorite sitcom. But how exactly is this possible? Keep watching this video to find out the magic that happens in Lay's factories. So let's get down to the roots of it, literally. Every bag of Lay's chips starts with the humble potato. But don't let that fool you. These aren't just any potatoes you can pick up at your local grocery store. Lay's has high standards, and only the best potatoes make the cut. In case you didn't know, most Lay's chips are made from specific types of potatoes, like russet Burbanks or white round potatoes. But why these kinds? Well, it's because they fry up perfectly into that golden crispy chip that delivers that iconic crunch. Seriously, Lay's doesn't leave things to chance when it comes to their potatoes. They work directly with farmers who grow these spuds just for them. These farmers are like potato superheroes, making sure the soil, water, and weather conditions are just right for growing top-quality crops. And the cool part? Many of these farms are located near the Lay's factories. But why? Well, the closer the farm, the fresher the potato. Plus, it cuts down on transportation time, which means your chips are fresher when they land in that shiny bag. Smart, right? Now, once the potatoes are ready to be harvested, things get really busy. Just imagine giant machines rolling through the fields and scooping up potatoes by the ton. It's like a potato parade. These spuds are then cleaned and sorted at the farm before being packed into massive trucks, and I mean massive. These trucks are packed so full of potatoes that they look like they're carrying a mini mountain on wheels. If you've ever been stuck behind one on the highway, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And when the potatoes arrive at the factory, it's time for some serious business. The first stop is unloading. Huge machines take over, but that doesn't mean humans sit back and relax. There are quality control workers who inspect the potatoes to make sure only the best ones get through. For real, Lay's doesn't take any chances. The sorting process is next-level tech. Machines can identify the size and quality of each potato in seconds. Smaller potatoes might get sent to different products, while the perfect ones head straight into the chip-making process. This level of detail ensures every chip in the bag comes from a potato that's up to Lay's standards. That's dedication, right? And just like that, the journey from farm to factory begins. But hold on, we're just getting started. You wouldn't believe how much more goes into transforming these potatoes into the chips you can't stop munching on. Now, turning a raw potato into a crispy chip is no small feat. It's a mix of science, art, and a lot of teamwork. First, those freshly sorted potatoes get a deep cleaning. Imagine a giant potato car wash, but instead of soap and water, it's specialized equipment scrubbing away every speck of dirt. But why does this matter? Because clean potatoes make clean chips, and nobody wants their snack tasting like the farm it came from. After their bath, the potatoes head to the peeling station. Now, this part is wild, because this is where machines equipped with rotating blades or steam jets peel the potatoes in a flash. It's like the potatoes are getting a high-speed makeover. The peel is removed so efficiently that hardly any of the actual potato gets wasted. And if you're wondering what happens to all that peel, don't worry. Many factories repurpose it for animal feed or compost, so nothing goes to waste. Once peeled, the potatoes are ready for the slicing stage. This is where things get super precise. Special slicers turn those whole potatoes into thin slices, almost as thin as paper. Think of it like cutting cucumbers for a salad, but way faster and way thinner. The thickness of each slice is crucial. Too thick and you've got a soggy chip. Too thin and it'll burn to a crisp. This is why the machines are calibrated to get it just right every single time. Now for the fun part. The potato slices are sent down a conveyor belt and into a giant vat of hot oil. This is where the major transformation happens. The oil is heated to the perfect temperature, usually around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and the slices are fried for just a few minutes. You'd think it'd take longer, but nope, the frying process is lightning fast. The oil sizzles and bubbles as the slices transform into crispy golden chips. It's like watching a food miracle in real time. Once the chips are fried, they're lifted out of the oil and sent to a spinning drum. This drum is basically the chip world's version of a salad spinner. It spins the chips around to get rid of any extra oil. This process is important because nobody wants chips that feel greasy when you touch them. Yeah, Lay's is all about that perfect balance of crunch and flavor without leaving you with oily fingers. From there, the chips go through a cooling process. Yep, even chips need a breather. This step ensures they're at the right temperature before moving on to the next phase. And just like that, a potato has officially become a chip. The transformation is quick, but every step is carefully designed to make sure the end result is nothing short of perfect. But this isn't where it stops. Sure, the potato has become a chip, but what about the seasoning that gives it that awesome taste? We'll talk about that next. Now, you may think Lay's chips are just potatoes and salt, but the truth is, the flavoring process is way more complicated and more impressive than you'd expect. Let's break it down, because there's so much more to this seasoning magic than meets the eye. Once the freshly fried chips make their way out of the oil, they're still warm and slightly golden. That warmth is super important for what comes next. Warm chips hold on to seasoning better than cold ones, so Lay's factories time everything perfectly. Because from frying to flavoring is all a carefully choreographed dance. During this process, the chips are spread out on a giant conveyor belt, almost like a moving buffet line. But instead of people adding toppings, it's machines spraying the chips with their iconic flavors. Imagine a shower head gently misting the chips with seasoning dust. The nozzles are so precise that every chip gets an even coat of seasoning. That means no sad, flavorless chips at the bottom of the bag. As for the flavors themselves, Lay's doesn't just slap on some random spice and call it a day. They've spent years perfecting each flavor, and the recipes are top secret. Seriously, only a handful of people know exactly what goes into each seasoning blend. Whether it's the tangy kick of sour cream and onion to the smoky sweetness of barbecue, every flavor is carefully crafted in a lab by food scientists. But wait, it gets cooler. Lay's flavor experts don't just stop at making chips taste good. They also study how flavors interact with your taste buds. For example, did you know certain spices can make your mouth water more, giving you that can't stop eating feeling? That's why you end up finishing a whole bag of Lay's without even realizing it. Because it's not just good taste, it's science. After the seasoning is applied, the chips go through a tumbling process. Picture a giant spinning drum, almost like a carnival ride for chips. This step makes sure every chip gets an even coat of flavoring. And if you've ever wondered why Lay's chips are always evenly seasoned, now you know. The tumbling process makes sure no chip gets left behind. And here's another fun fact. Lay's constantly experiments with new flavors. You know those limited edition flavors like wasabi ginger or cheeseburger? Those are the result of months, sometimes years, of testing and tasting. Food scientists, flavor experts, and even regular snack lovers all weigh in to make sure each new flavor is a hit. So next time you pop a chip in your mouth, think about all the work that went into making it taste just right. It's not just a sprinkle of seasoning, it's a whole science and art combined. Now that the chips are fried to perfection and coated with their delicious seasoning, it's time to pack them up. But don't think this is just tossing chips into a bag and calling it a day. Oh no, Lay's has this down to a science, and the process is way cooler than you'd expect. First, the chips make their way from the seasoning conveyor belt to a packing station. This is where the chips are weighed. Lay's factories use special machines that measure exactly how many chips go into each bag. They don't just guess or eyeball it. Every bag is weighed down to the gram to make sure you're getting exactly what you paid for. Once the chips are weighed, they're funneled into a bag that's already printed with the iconic Lay's logo. And here's a fun fact you may not know. Those bags aren't just regular plastic. They're specially designed to keep out air, moisture, and anything else that can make the chips go stale. It's like a little fortress for your snack. But here's the part that confuses a lot of people. You've probably opened a bag of Lay's before and thought, why is there so much air in here? Did they forget to fill it up? The truth is that air isn't air at all. It's nitrogen gas. Lay's adds nitrogen to their bags to keep the chips fresh and to stop them from breaking during shipping. If they used regular air, the chips would go stale and taste weird. So next time you open a bag, remember that puff of nitrogen is there to protect your chips, not to cheat you out of more snacks. Now, after the bags are filled and sealed, they're inspected one last time. Machines scan the bags to make sure they're sealed properly, because if there's even the tiniest hole, that bag won't make it to the store. Yeah, Lay's is super serious about quality control, and that's why they're a world-class brand. So once the bags pass inspection, they're packed into boxes. These boxes are then stacked on pallets and loaded onto trucks. And let me tell you, the logistics here are insane. Lay's factories have to figure out how to deliver all these bags of chips to thousands of stores, all while keeping everything fresh. It's like organizing the world's biggest snack delivery service. From there, it's off to store shelves and eventually into your hands. So the next time you grab a bag of Lay's, take a moment to appreciate how much work went into getting those chips from the factory to your pantry. It's a snack worth savoring, don't you think? Now here's the wild part. Lay's factories can produce millions of chips every single day. It's a non-stop operation, with potatoes coming in one end and delicious crispy chips coming out the other. And the best part? Lay's is constantly testing and improving their process. They even have people whose entire job is to taste the chips and make sure they're perfect. Can you imagine getting paid to eat chips all day? Dream job, right? That being said, head to the comments and tell us the Lay's production process that surprises you the most. And if you want to learn more about how things are made from start to finish, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video.